Hey VC, what's up? It's me, yours truly. I am back to post a quick video here. This is going to be my response to Jonathan, Cheap and Cheerful Record Collector. I did a response to Joe's 100 subs video yesterday, so I wanted to make sure I knocked out Jonathan's today because I was wanting to get those two done this weekend. They've been sitting in my favorites for a while. But yeah, I just want to kind of jump on board and, congrats on the 800 subs. And again, I'm going to try to make sure to put a link down below. So make sure you go to Jonathan's channel and kind of check him out. Well, as you can tell just by his channel name, um, one of the things that he tends to find a bit of value in is being able to build, good, great collections with great music and not having to break the bank to do it. So it's kind of what he incorporated with his thread here, which was simply to show 10 albums, 5 to 10 albums that you purchase that were cheap, $5 or less, and that kind of have, significant, great meaning to you and all that good stuff. So, interesting exercise to go through. I know Billy Hirsch and I talk about this all the time, how, I've been collecting maybe 12 years now or something like that, which is a good chunk of time. But I mean, there's definitely a lot of people around here that have been, collecting almost all their lives or 20, 30 plus years type of thing. So I'm kind of in that moderate range, I guess. But one of the things that's always kind of interesting is to kind of reflect back and see how your collecting habits, things that bother you, things that don't bother you now, or vice versa. It's just really interesting sometimes to take a look at that. So I was fortunate enough to really get into like serious collecting a good 2, maybe 3 years before the resurgence really started to kick in. So I was able to grab quite a bit of stuff pretty cheap when vinyl just still wasn't quite, you know, it was there. Some stuff was coming out, but it wasn't the craziness that it is today. And Billy and I always talk about that, how when we look back at that time period, you go into a dollar bin and you would find, albums in fantastic condition in dollar bins. Those same albums now are consistently the $3, $4, $5 albums that you find in stores now. It's just a really interesting thing to see. But anyway, so these are 10 of my, or just 10 picks of albums that I paid $5 or less for. And the significance of these albums, or the, excuse me, to me is, as you guys know, I like a bunch of different genres, and I have a lot of albums in different genres that I paid $5 or less for. But I decided to focus this one on strictly 80s R&B. So I didn't pick from any other genre, since that's kind of one genre that doesn't get talked about as much here in the VC. So these are all from 80s R&B, and the significance of these are when we first got cable television, and I saw MTV for the first time. The other thing that I used to watch just as much as MTV was Video Soul on BET, and it was just like, I mean, just almost every artist, every song, all of that stuff just has like so much meaning from my childhood to, like it was really on the same level as kind of what I got from Headbangers Ball was the same thing that I got from Video Soul on BET. I mean, I used to just watch that religiously because it was so good. So these are just 10 of the artists that I used to see all the time and that I discovered and fell in love with through my years of watching, those early years, I should say, of watching Video Soul on BET, like back in grade school, which was just an awesome time. It has a little 13-inch black and white TV, and I mean, it was just like all the entertainment I needed. So here's some of my faves, and again, all under $5, at least what I paid for them. So maybe a couple might be worth a little bit more now, but um, first off here, we start with Evelyn Champagne King. This is Get Loose. She was a pretty big name in the R&B world. I mean, they're not going to know her like Aretha Franklin and that type of thing, and she wasn't quite on that level, but she was still huge in the R&B world. Um, Again, this is her album Get Loose, and I picked this one because it has two of my favorite songs, but the song Bet You She Don't Love You is one of those videos from Video Soul that's just so seared into my mind and has this really cool kind of groove to it as well that I love. But this also has the song Love Come Down, which is just one of those just R&B dance just jams. I mean, oh my gosh. I actually listened to this this morning, I think it was. So yeah, she definitely makes that list. Fantastic album to get for $5. Um, but yeah, she's really something. On her, some of her other album songs like Shame was a big hit for her, but I'm in Love, that's another one of just her jams. But it's really interesting how she got discovered too, because her, I don't remember if it was her sister or cousin or someone like that, was a worked was a cleaning lady at actually a record company, and called in or couldn't make it to work one day and asked Evelyn to step in to go work for her. And Evelyn stepped in, and she's in there cleaning, and she's just kind of singing and belting stuff out. And someone kind of heard her and was like, wait a minute. And next thing you know, she's Evelyn Champagne King. So awesome, awesome. Next here, got another lady actually, Sherelle. She was huge back in that time period too. From, I mean, just in terms of the significance in the '80s R&B. Um, songs off of here like "You Look Good to Me," one of my jams. Love that video. And then the song "Saturday Love," which is just a really really just awesome '80s slow jam type of groove. And it's really cool too because it's a duet that she did with this man here, who's actually my third pick, Alexander O'Neal. So they had a number of different duets they did together. So Saturday Love was a duet that they did on her album. And then on this one here, the song Innocent, she made a cameo on that song as well on this album. Now Alexander O'Neal, in case you're not familiar with him, number one, his probably biggest hit of his career and his one of the ultimate '80s slow jams is "If You Were Here Tonight" off of this album. Man, I never get tired of listening to that. Even the live version of that is good. That tells you something about me. Um, but yeah, absolute jam. But Alexander O'Neal, "If You Were Here Tonight" was written by Monty Moya, I think's his last name, who used to be a member of The Time. You remember Morris Day and The Time, Prince and Purple Rain? Well, Alexander O'Neal used to be the lead singer of the group that later became The Time until Morris Day replaced him. Because when Prince was doing Purple Rain, he wanted to, kind of bring on board a group that he was going to develop and really had a lot of control over. And and Alexander O'Neal kind of wanted a little more control himself, definitely wanted more money, all of that. So Alexander was out, Morris Day came in, and that's when Purple Rain and The Time went that way, and Alexander went into his solo career. But anyway, just a little background about him. And again, "If You Were Here Tonight," just one I think the greatest '80s jams of all time. Now another great band right here, which is Climax. You guys have heard me say in the past that Cameo is one of the most rock and roll '80s R&B bands ever, and Climax on the female side is one of the most rock and roll '80s R&B groups, because these ladies just kind of did their own thing. Some stuff they did was really kind of wacky. Some stuff they did was very R&B. They just went with whatever they wanted to do. And I had the biggest crush on what's her name too. She was kind of like she wasn't crazy, but she was kind of like the Flavor Flav of the group. She was kind of like the hype woman, and she always had like different haircuts and like one side shaved, and I thought that stuff was so hot. Still do. She was awesome. But here you have songs like "Meeting in the Ladies' Room," which was one of my favorite jams. There, "The Men All Pause." Um, yeah. So, but I think probably their biggest hit was the slow jam "I Miss You" off of this album. But fantastic album, fantastic band, and a great find for under $5. Bobby Womack. I think you guys actually seen me show this album a couple of times. And this is "So Many Rivers." And this is my introduction to Bobby Womack off of Video Soul again. And it was the song "I Wish You Didn't Trust Me So Much." I mean, it was just one of those songs that just an awesome, awesome track. Sadly, throughout all those years, that was the only song I heard off the album because I'd only seen the video on Video Soul. But after getting the album later on, songs like That's Where It's At. I mean, one of the best tracks he's ever laid down, and just a lot of great stuff on here. But again, one of my top video soul artists that I experienced back in the day, and another great album for under $5. Frankie Smith, Children of Tomorrow, and this had the one big hit from when I was a childhood, which was the Double Dutch Bus. Man, that used to be the jam. I can remember living in the Oak Street projects, and the lady who lived right catty corner to us, her daughter's name, um, Deshawn was her daughter's name, and she used to bring that big speaker and set it out on the front porch, and she used to play this song just over and over and over. Because her name being Deshawn, he actually says her name in the album. She thought it was just like the greatest thing ever. But yeah, that was another great find for under $5, and definitely just an awesome track. Brings back a lot of memories on that one. The SOS Band, definitely an R&B band that just does not get enough credit. Just back when the smoothness was in R&B, and SOS Band did it as well as anyone. Uh, Probably my favorite song by them is "Tell Me If You Still Care," which is off of this album, and that was one of the big video hits I used to see on Video Soul back in the day. But you can go through their whole catalog and find all kinds of great stuff. I mean, they actually have a CD box set that came out not too long ago because I picked that up. But this is from 1983, and again, just another awesome R&B album for under $5. So a lot of people, Weekend Girl, another just fantastic track. But the one song that most people probably heard at some point in time would be um, Just Be Good to Me. I think was it the WWF used that song for a while as an intro, and it's just kind of one of the more common heard songs, but definitely not their best to me. Next one here, Gap Band. This is Gap Band Gold, and this was a great find again for under $5. Um, Gap Band is just one of those, just again, legendary R&B bands from back in the day. And Gap Band, they really kind of had their stamp and their signature, which was just a very kind of bass groove, um, almost like AC/DC, where the rhythm section was kind of just very simple. It wasn't a lot of different things. As a matter of fact, the drummer, what's his name? I always forget. It used to kill me because when you listen to almost any Gap Band song, he basically has 3 drum fills that he uses, and he uses them on every single song, almost every single time, at least all of the upbeat songs. And it's like, we got a formula that works, we're not going to screw with it. But, love the Gap Band. And back then, the song that came on Video Soul all the time was Party Train. That was the song we used to hear all the time. They had like this boxing ring set up, and different people were getting in the ring, just kind of dancing, and it's Party Train. It was awesome. But Burn Rubber on Me, outstanding. Stay With Me, You Dropped the Bomb on Me early in the morning. I mean, that's a slamming album right there. And the song Burn Rubber on Me, before we moved to the place where we got BET and I saw Party Train and all of that, the first time I ever heard the Gap Band was when a cousin from mine came to visit my mother, or visit us. And again, I'm like second grade, maybe third grade at this point in time. And so I get home from school, my mom's not home yet, and he's like, "Yeah, okay, we'll just go grab something to eat really quick and wait for your mom to get home." I'm like, okay, cool. And I hop in the front seat and my legs are dangling. Back in the days, they were dangling off the edges. And I remember he had like I forgot the type of car, or like a Cutlass or something, but it was all like purpley plush, and he like on the dashboard, everything, the furry purple steering wheel. And I was like, oh, that's so cool. And then he started up the engine, and all I remember was hearing the motorcycle revving and taking off, which is the entrance of Burn Rubber. And I was just like, my little mind was just like, I was like, oh my God, what was that? It was so cool. And it stuck with me ever since. So great find for under $5. And the last two, Another band that got a lot of rotation on Video Soul during that time period, which was Shalimar. Another kind of legendary band from an 80s R&B perspective. They later kind of broke up, and that's where you got the solo careers of Howard Hewitt, who was there, and then Jody Watley. This was the band she was in before she broke out and started doing her I'm looking for new love solo stuff. But Shalimar had a number of great hits back then too, and again, A Night to Remember. That was the one video I remember seeing in rotation all the time back then. So that's Shalimar sporting a heck of a fro. And last but not least, the one and only Mr. Jeffrey Osborne. Again, just another artist that had just huge rotations on BET back in the day, and it was basically for two songs off of this album, which was "Stay With Me." Actually, one off of this album, "Stay With Me Tonight," and then "You Should Be Mine" off of his album that came after this. Those two were gigantic hits that just got rotation all the time. And Jeffrey Osborne was originally the lead singer of LTD, if you guys remember them. Kind of a well-established, they had that big hit Back in Love, which is a gigantic hit for them. But yeah, the one and only JL. So there you go. 10 albums for under $5 and kind of explaining why they had the sentimental value to me that they did. So I thought that'd be a little bit different to maybe go to that genre. Like I said, we don't see as much of that talked about. But thanks for watching as always, VC. Again, Jonathan, congratulations on 800 subs. As always, let me know what you think, and we will talk to you guys soon. All right, take care, guys.